In this video lecture today, we shall discuss the structure and functions of the human eye. Eye is the photoreceptive organ as lights come from the external environment, and the eye convert the light from the light energy into the electrical impulses of the neuron. So eyes are the transducers of the energy. Transducer is any substance that can convert one form of energy into another form. So eye, eyes are the transducers of light energy into the electrical energy of the electrical energy, or you can say into the electrical impulses of the brain. So first of all, the light comes from the external environment and the eye convert the light energy into the electrical energy. So we shall discuss the structure and the function of the human eye in the detail. As far as the structure is concerned, if we take the, for example, this is the eyeball. For example, this is the eyeball of the human being. Okay, this is the eyeball of the human being. If we cut this eyeball into the cross section, for example, I cut this eyeball into the cross section, so we can get something like this. The cross section of the eye consists on such a structure. These structures are present when we cut the eye into the cross section. This is the structure of the eye. First of all, we will discuss the layers of the eye. What are the main layers which are present in the eye, and then we will go through the fluids which are present in the eye. Then we shall discuss the lens and other ligaments, all the accessory structures which are a part of the eye. First of all, this is the eye. This is a cross section of the eye. This is the first layer of the eye. I made this layer with the help of black color. This layer, this is a very outer layer of the eye, very tough layer of the eye, white color layer of the eye, and this layer is called as the sclera. This is the outermost covering of the eye. This is called as the sclera. So posterior side of the eye, for example, this is the anterior side of the eye, and this is the posterior side of the eye. Posterior side consists of on the white color layer. This is called as the sclera, and when this sclera moves on, this sclera move forward, it converts into the thin transparent layer. This is called as the cornea. Cornea is a thin transparent layer, okay, which is connected, or you can say which is a derivative of the sclera. So this is the sclera, and this is the, and in the front part it is called as the cornea. Okay. Now the second layer, which is, so what is the function of the sclera? Let us discuss the function of the sclera. As it is present outside, as it is a tough membrane, okay, so it has the function of the protection. It protects the internal contents of the eye. It will provide us the protection, okay. And the second layer, which is present over here after the sclera, there is a second layer which is called as the choroid. Just below the sclera, there is a choroid. Okay, so choroid is the second layer. And the second layer is vascular layer. Choroid is a vascular layer. It is rich. It is, you can say, so many arteries and capillaries, blood vessels are present in the choroid. So choroid is a vascular layer. It has the function of the nourishment. It will bring the oxygenated blood to the eye, and it provide the nourishment to all the, you can say, contents of the eye. Okay, so function of the nourishment is provided by the sclera. Understood? Now, just like we went through that, the sclera will forward at the anterior part of the sclera is called as the cornea, which is a thin membrane. Just like this, the anterior part of the choroid, I made this triangular structure. These two triangular structures are called as the ciliary body. This is one ciliary body, this is another ciliary body, okay? And this structure, this is the iris of the eye. So iris and ciliary body are the part of the choroid, which is a vascular structure and it has the function of the nourishment. Okay, choroid has the function of the nourishment. This ciliary body has the function of the production of the aqueous humor in the anterior part of the eye. Aqueous humor and vitreous humor are two types of fluids which are present in the eye. Posteriorly, this cavity is called as the vitreous chamber. Anteriorly, this cavity is called as the aqueous chamber. So, aqueous chamber is filled with aqueous humor and vitreous chamber is filled with vitreous humor. Okay, vitreous humor and aqueous humor are the fluids. Okay, are the water, are the jelly-like products which are produced by the ciliary body. Okay, and what is the function of this iris? Iris has the function. For example, this is the eye. Okay, this is the iris. When iris gets relaxed, this opening is called as this diaphragm is called as the pupil. Okay, so iris will make the pupil enlarge. Iris will make the pupil enlarge, and iris will constrict the pupil, or it will make the pupil narrow. It will control the amount of the light which is entered into the eye. So when the iris become relaxed, when the iris become bigger, the pupil is constricted. So narrow light or dim light, or you can say less amount of the light will be entered into the eye. And similar over here, when the iris got constricted, so the pupil will get enlarged, pupil will get dilated. So much light will get into the eye. So amount of light is controlled by the iris. Amount of light is controlled by the iris. Okay. So in the dim light, the pupil get bigger. So more and more light during the night, more and more light will be entered into our body, and during the day the pupil get constricted. So minimum amount of the light will be entered into the eye. And this is the iris, this is the ciliary body, this is the choroid, which is the second layer of the eye. Now the third and the most important layer for which this protection is provided, for which this nutrition is provided, this is the third layer of the eye, which is called as the retina. Retina is the innermost layer. Retina is the innermost layer, okay, which is present in the eye. This is the retina. Retina is the innermost layer of the eye, okay, and it has the function of the production of the image. The image is produced, the actual image is produced with the help of this retina. Retina is the innermost layer, okay. Retina is made up of the two layers. For example, this is, I will enlarge this portion. This is the sclera, the outermost layer, okay. This is the choroid, okay, the middle layer, and this is the retina. Retina is itself made up of two layers. Outer layer is called as the neural layer. This is called as the neural layer, outer layer of the retina. And inner layer is sandwiched between the neural layer and the choroid. This inner layer is called as the pigmental layer. Okay, it is also called as a retinal pigmental epithelium. That epithelium which is rich in pigment and which is present in the retina. Okay, so neural layer and pigmental layer are the part of the retina. These two layers combine together to form the retina. Okay, understood? Now, this pigmental layer and neural layer actually, the main functional layer of the eye, which is responsible for the creation of the image, is the neural layer. So third layer we have retina. Retina has neural layer and pigmental layer. Neural layer has two types of cells, that are rods and cones. Rods and cones are two types of layers, are two types of cells, are two types of neuron, you can say. They are a part of the retina and they are present in the neural layer of retina. I am again saying the similar thing. I am again repeating that retina consists on two types of layer. Okay, retina consists on two types of layer: the neural layer and the pigmental layer. The neural layer consists on the neuron, rods and cones. Okay, rods are rod-like cells. cones are. Cone-like cell rods are activated, or they perceive the dim lights. When there is darkness, darkness is perceived by the rods. And color vision, bright light is perceived by the cones. So they are active on the bright light. Understood? This is the function of the rods and cones. They are active on the bright light. They will perceive the color images, and they will perceive the black and white images light. Understood? And what is the function of the pigmental layer? Pigmental layer consists on the pigments. Understood? And pigments, and these pigments absorb the various wavelength of the light. Understood? And remember the point, the neural layer of the retina will only continue until this point. Okay, until this point the neural layer will continue, and apart from this point, further on this point, no neural layer, only the pigmental layer will continue. Only the pigmental layer will continue after the corneoscleral junction. This point is called as the corneoscleral junction, because cornea and sclera meet at this point. Understood? So further on, after the corneoscleral junction, only the pigmental layer of the neuron will go on, okay, and no neuronal layer will go on. Understood? Now we can also say this is the optic disc. This is the optic disc. Understood? From where the light will come, image is formed, and this image will be go to your brain via this optic nerve. This is the optic nerve. This optic nerve take the image to the brain. Which part of the brain? The visual cortex of the brain. The visual cortex of the brain is a part, okay, which you can say which perceives with your vision. Understood? So optic nerve take all the messages of light, take all the light energy and convert it into electrical energy, nerve impulses, and the nerve impulses are going towards the visual cortex. Understood? So the light is coming from the external environment, okay, the image is formed on the retina, and it will convert into the electrical impulses. Now at this point of the retina has a depression like this. This point of the retina has somewhat depression. This depression is called as the macula. This is called as the macula. This is called as the retina. Retina, I use green color to represent the retina. This is the macula. The middle portion of the macula, the middle part of the macula is called as the fovea centralis. Fovea centralis. Actually, macula and fovea has high concentration of the cones, and they are associated with the color vision. They are associated with the, you can say, with the when we check something in the detail, when we read very small fonts, when we go to the detail of image, this function is provided by the macula and the fovea, and the rest of the retina will provide as the central vision, and the macula and the fovea will provide as the peripheral vision. Understood? So light will come and the image is formed on the retina. Understood? Now we shall discuss the anterior part. The anterior part is called as the aqueous chamber, I told you earlier, and this part is called as the vitreous chamber. Vitreous chamber is filled with a fluid. This fluid is called as the vitreous humor. Vitreous humor is a jelly-like fluid that is present at the posterior, at the back side of the eye. Okay, and aqueous humor is filled over here. The aqueous humor and the vitreous humor as the function of the protection, and they also maintain the ocular pressure. Okay, they also maintain the ocular pressure. Understood? They allow the eye to remain in its spherical form. The spherical form of the eye is maintained with these fluids. Understood? Now over here at the ciliary body, let us discuss the main part of the eye. There are suspensory ligaments, and these suspensory ligaments hold the lens. The lens is lens is present beneath the iris, beneath the cornea. First cornea, then aqueous chamber, then iris, then lens. This is a detail of the eye. So first of all, the cornea. After the cornea, aqueous chamber. Aqueous chamber is filled with the aqueous humor, then iris, and below the iris, beneath the iris, there is a lens. Lens has a convex shape. Lens has the plano-convex shape. It will converge the light, okay, into one point. Light is converged into this point, into the optical disc. So the image is formed at the optical disc due to this convex lens. If the nature provided us the concave lens, so the light will divert. Okay, this was the advantage. Okay, so nature provided us the convex type of lens. This is called as the convex and this is called as the concave. Understood? So nature provided us the convex lens so that we can converge the light rays into one point, and this point is called as the optical disc. And the image is formed. We can perceive the image with the help of this optical nerve. Optical nerve send the message of the eye to the brain. Understood? So when we summarize our today's lecture, we can say that sclera is the outermost layer of the eye. It has the function of the protection. Choroid is the middle layer of the eye. It has the function of the nourishment. Retina is the innermost layer of the eye. It has the function. It has the rods and cones, two types of the layers combined together to form the retina, that are the neural layer and the pigmental layer. Neural layer is the outermost. Upper part is the neural layer. Neural layer contains rods and cones. Rods stimulated by dim light. In the darkness they got stimulation, and cones got stimulation whenever there is a bright light, bright environment. Understood? This anterior part is the cornea. It is the thin membrane. Okay, and it is nourished by this aqueous humor because there is no blood supply in the cornea. Blood supply is completely absent in the cornea, so cornea gets it's all nutrition from this aqueous humor. Okay, so light will come, iris control the amount of the light. The light is converged with the help of this lens, this plano-convex lens. This plano-convex lens forms the image on this optical disc. The messages travel to the brain via this optical nerve to the visual cortex part of the brain, and we can see.